This episode of What If It's Cool is brought to you by Respro Clothing. Respro Clothing, where you can get the latest merchandise from all the stars, including Luke Resner, Som, Savannah Rowe, Nova Nichols, and my personal favourite, Conflict Axiom. So make sure you check out Respro Clothing. You can find them on Facebook and on Instagram. Alpha Pro Wrestling presents Market Mayhem, happening this Sunday at 1 PM at the Pipeworks Markets. Entry fee is only $2 for all this amazing action, so why not check it out? MXW's Wheel of Torture is happening November 4th. Ticket link is in description. Make sure to check it out to see what's going to happen when each wrestler spins that wheel. Hello and welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am the lone wolf known as Daniel Paul Crow, and on this episode, I have a sit-down interview with Frankie Grime. We talk about his time in Wrestlehouse, going to MXW, and that incident with Michael Weaver. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Riffs, Slams, and Sangas with Frankie Grime. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I know that you are busy because not only are you a wrestler, you're a musician as well. And very accomplished musician.
Yeah, well, I'm also a sandwich artist, just to throw it out there.
Why does this fucking podcast always roll around food in some way or another, man?
Look, retail jobs, bro. It gets the best of us. Retail, hospitality, like that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So I'm guessing
you find a lot of us. Yeah, you find a lot of us in these jobs, I guess. From what I've learnt, anyway. Yeah, and I guess us boys love our food.
Yeah, we do.
Spend all the energy. But it's pretty my life's pretty, I don't know, jumbled with beating people up, playing some tunes and making sandwiches for people. So yeah.
Oh, now I'm hungry for a fucking sandwich right now. Oh.
Riffs, slams, and sangers. That's what this podcast is going to be titled.
I like that one. Well, now I haven't had the pleasure of seeing you live just yet, but I'm hoping to see you live in Geelong for MXW November 20 something. I can't remember the date.
I'll probably do the big reveal now, but I may not be at that event, unfortunately. That is due to band commitments.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say about that big festival that's coming around that time. So I was like, oh, dude.
No. So we've got that here, but we've got another potential show. I won't throw details out now because I don't really know much myself. But one out of town, I think on the same day. So I had to pull out of the Rumble, which is very unfortunate.
Oh no.
So yeah, and it sucks because Rumbles are my favorite type of matchup too. So it's the only thing I can do is just sit wherever this gig is and hope for the best that one of the Cougars pull the win, I guess. So.
Oh, you've got 2 and 30 shot to win, but you've got one of the craziest sons of bitches in wrestling, and the man with the best uppercut in the world, taking on 28 other people. So,
man, I once had a dream that he knocked out a rabid wolf. Not in a bad way. Like, I love wolves. I yell for wolf, of course. But, like, just this rabid wolf, I had a dream he uppercutted one so hard, bro. It was, But you're right. Just one of the nastiest things I've seen. And Bamford's just crazy, bro. Like, he's just always off his head. Like, not
not in a bad way,
but whatever. But, like, just crazy. Like, dialed in, ready to go. And it's good. I lurk in the background and I spit purple people, and that's
Well, when you speak of Bamford being crazy, I mean that promo for AOW at the river.
What of him going in the river? I watched that about 4 times and thinking to myself,
same.
What does this mean?
I didn't watch it because I was like, I kept thinking about it. I was just like, I couldn't stop laughing at it because I just thought everything that I've known about Bamford now and just getting to know him, I'm just like, this is probably your best promo you've ever done, and I just want to keep watching it.
He's always had a knack for just pulling random promos out of his ass and just getting a laugh out of everyone. Like ever since the Wrestlehouse days, like he's sort of just had it. He pops everyone behind like camera or whatever. Us boys standing there watching him, he'll have us in tears. The amount of times Robbie's tried not to piss himself laughing in a promo. Like,
Oh man. Well,
yeah.
speaking of Wrestlehouse, let's get into this and dive into your career. Firstly,
Yeah.
how did you get into wrestling, and what and who inspired you to get in?
Oh, well, I first sort of like heard of wrestling and all that when I was super young. You know, we'd go to dad's on the weekends and stuff. Actually, my nan's, but dad was sort of living there at the time, on and off work. And at mum's, I had an Xbox, but at dad's, I had a PS2. And I had SmackDown versus, oh no, sorry, SmackDown, Just Bring It. On with The Rock on the cover and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
classic.
not the best in the series, but
Nah, but it's
had
like
a great
the
roster
PS2
though.
one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those next three games were just sort of flat out a big part of what I'd played for, you know, the next however many years. And that's when I really got into wrestling when I was younger. Fell off it for a little while, and then when I'd moved into the house where we got the ring for Wrestlehouse and everything, he was a really big wrestling fan too. He'd been into it all his life, and I'd sort of started picking up on things again. And this is around when this is the whole like Punk Cena era where, you know, CM Punk was running off with the title and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it was all around there, like just after all that stuff.
Mm.
And I'd sort of got back into it all and thought, well, you know, be cool to do this one day, like, you know, move away and like sort of get lessons and all that stuff and go training flat out. And then we just, you know, a bit of like a couple of lazy buggers back then, and we are just, oh, let's try and invest in a ring or something. We'll just get like a backyard fed going. Nothing serious. We weren't trying to like make it big or anything. Just something for us boys to have a bit of a, you know, bit of a laugh over and stuff. And after 4 years of basically the progression of that, which just soared into nothing, about 3 or 4 of us just mucking around in the ring, pretending we knew, you know.
Mm.
And then that turned into like a Facebook group, which was kind of private for a little while, where we post episodes, and then a YouTube channel, which we started posting more like, you know, actual content and everything. And wasn't until we sort of collabed with MXW, which back then, just, you know, another backyard fed with a few blokes. Ace being the one who sort of reached out to, it was Casca at the time. They were sort of talking back and forth. They sort of connected. So that was, you know, opportunity to go to Horsham, do some more backyard stuff. And it just grew from there, man. And like, I don't know, the select bunch of us that have sort of gone on now to wrestle for MXW and other promotions and that. I don't know. We all just sort of, I don't know, kind of just lit a fire from there. Like, we all never really had plans to like take it too far, but opportunity just came for us, I guess. And we soon had people like Kid Valiant coming in and helping out things, and next thing you know, that progressed into Horsham Show and all that stuff. And it was like, wow, man, like this is happening, you know. And yeah, now I've done matches with heaps of cool people. Will Walker, for example, that was probably one of my greatest matches. I think it's not the best, but like, you know, for where I'm at, I think it's probably one of my best matches. But yeah, I've had the opportunity to meet heaps of people, man. But just that whole little like idea of let's buy a ring, get the boys, you know, having a laugh, the whole nudge, wink, wink. It just kind of blew into I'm wrestling all around Victoria, and yeah, here we are today, man.
Well, like it's funny you say that. Like I think some of the best careers this happens is when you sort of like you do it with your buddies and you don't take it too seriously, but once you start having fun, you're like, oh, maybe I want to keep doing this, and you know, maybe you know. And the moment that you know those dollar signs hit your eyes, and like, I can make a bit of money off this. I'm going to keep going at it, you know. You know.
Yeah, I'm still at a level where like getting the hot dog is good enough, but getting the handshake with it you know, I'm rolling at it then. Like, but like, I don't mind, man. Like at the moment, it's sort of a thing where like we've been with like us guys, like me, myself, Bamford, EVO, etc. We've been part of MXW for that long, through since it's kind of reboot, we'll call it, all the way through from being the shed fed into the fed that is now. You know, through all the misconception that we're all a bunch of like, you know, yarders and all that, which admittedly, yes, we were, of course, but like we've all put the time in to start doing all this properly, and we want to like take that misconception and basically throw it in the bin.
I can never understand why there's so much heat with some people being a yarder. I mean, weren't we all yarders at one point?
Yeah, well, I mean, we all got dreams, dude. Like, you know, all the dreams start from somewhere, whether it's the yard, whether it's literally walking into a training school for the first time and realizing then, okay, this is what's happening. But like, I don't quite personally like jump into too much of all that myself. Like all the online beef that was happening a while ago, like I've seen it all. Like, you know, we're all sort of looking at it, but I don't know. To me, I'm just kind of like, why bother these people if, you know, if the only thing they're going to do is just sort of have a whinge about it or look down on us for things. Like, I'd rather try and prove them wrong in a sense, but not in a suck up sort of way, but just almost as a you, but being nice about it sort of thing, you know? Like, it's like, nah, like, there's no need to sort of judge people who have just the same amount of passion as any other Australian wrestler, any other international wrestler, you know, so to speak. Like, the amount of drive and passion I've seen in that locker room is, and I've heard this on multiple of your podcasts as well, such as, you know, Harry Cornero and stuff. He said it himself. The amount of drive and passion in the MXW locker room it's almost unmatched. It pretty much is unmatched. And that's all we basically want to do is just put on the best shows we can. All the guys that are less trained, I guess, lesser experienced, they only want to get up to scratch with everyone else. There's no like, oh, we're going to take what we know and just fuck around with it, you know, be unsafe and all that. There's none of that at all. And it's like, I think personally, just from what I see and how I see people respond and all that, I think there's a lot of flack coming, I don't want to say our way selfishly, but, you know, to us guys, and it's kind of just like, why? Like, I can understand it from a perspective, but it's like, why? If we're just wanting to learn and do what you do, basically. And we've just not had the opportunities for that, I guess, being in Mildura, 6.5 hours away from anywhere. And it's kind of, you know, it was just sort of hard for everyone's, where everyone was in their personal lives at that point as well. You know, a couple of us have got kids, a couple of us are, you know, working full time. And it's like, yeah, just trying to sort of weigh up things. But things have sort of changed over the last year or two. Most of the guys have moved down to the city now. And, you know, I think by the end of maybe this year, mid next year, everyone will have probably gotten down there. So,
well, your brothers are all now all together in Geelong, and you need to head down that way too, I think.
Yeah, I think at this point it's only myself and EBO and Burton. But yeah, it's only us three left here, really. So all the guys are left.
Well, they're left for big opportunities, but when they get those big opportunities, they're going to return home as the hometown heroes. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, even just taking Bamford for example, he's killing it. He's, you know, he's got a title match against Jason Crusher Cole in AOW, which was meant to happen in Mildura, but, you know, unfortunate events kind of prevented that match from happening. So obviously we'll see that soon again. But things like that, like a completely different company to MXW, and, you know, Bamford's in a position like that, or Robbie Parker debuting on Adrenaline before the Cooters were even a thing, just like, you know, stuff like that. And it's like, here I am in Mildura, just, hey, what bread do you want that on? No, all in good time. It's just, yeah, it's a matter of just balancing things for myself at the moment, but we'll get there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, I want to talk about the Wrestlehouse, because we did talk a little bit off camera about it, and you described yourself, and may I stress this is not for him, you know, putting himself over. It's just, you know, because I do know a little bit of the history of Wrestlehouse thanks to my episode with EVO. You described yourself as one of the four pillars. Now,
Yeah.
who are the four pillars of Wrestlehouse, in your opinion? And tell me about your history with Wrestlehouse.
So the four initial pillars from the get go, I would say, is myself, ELP, Purge, the guy who owns the ring, and Ryan Kasker, who was Ryan Tate back then. Granted, like I said before too, we had a few others as well, but it was sort of like as frequent as we were, I would say.
Mm.
And then it was not long after that that Bamford and stuff come into it. So from that point, I would count Bamford as one as well. But moving on from that, so my sort of history of Wrestlehouse was more, we were sitting there, like I said earlier, just a silly idea to get a ring, and basically myself and Purge didn't take it too seriously at first. Casca and stuff came along, and we hadn't actually met him before. He was friends with a friend of ours that's not part of any of the wrestling or anything like that. He's a fan. We met him through him, and this mate stopped coming around, but Casca, like Ryan, kind of stayed, and it was like, oh, like, who's this guy sort of thing. And no, he turned out to be really cool. Obviously I hate him and Evio now, they're dogs, but like, yeah, it just sort of went from there, and it was just an escape, really. Like, there's not much around here in the way of, hey, let's just go and watch a wrestling match this weekend or something like that. Like, we can't just do that unless we go to Adelaide or something like that. So it was just, I don't know, for me, it was a whole bunch of fun amongst a group of mates that didn't want to push anything, really. We didn't want to annoy any other companies or anything, because we weren't trying to intrude on anything like that. It was like the only sort of name we were making is just around here. We weren't taking Wrestlehouse on the road. We weren't going to hire like TJP or something to come and wrestle at Wrestlehouse, like in a backyard. Like, we weren't aiming for any of that. It was just, a bit of fun, and opportunities just kind of worked out in a strange but fortunate way for a lot of us. So we still go around there to do training from what we learn, down, because we'll do like the old seminars and stuff at events and all that. So we'll learn a heap there, and we'll apply that to training here and stuff just in the ring. Not going overboard. We've kind of cut all that out. Like, don't do shit we know we shouldn't do. Kind of like we know our limits, sort of thing. Yeah. And that was the thing with Wrestlehouse too. Like, even though we're untrained, we knew our limits. We weren't, I wasn't going to be doing any bloody 450s off the roof through a table or anything stupid like that. It was just, the best thing I was doing was like maybe a moonsault. Maybe. That was, but it wasn't too much. A lot of like deathmatch type matches, like, happened there. A lot of table or doors broken and light tubes smashed, but like, a lot of that was Bamford, and I'll gladly say that on camera. I'll gladly say that on camera. Me and him had a 60-minute hardcore match, and it was draining. But that's pretty much kind of, I don't know, a thing of the past, I guess, so to speak. We keep it dear, but it's like, we're not going to go around saying like, oh, we wrestle in a backyard, like, kind of thing anymore. We're a bit past that, I think. So
that's fair.
But
yeah. What I did love, because I'm going back and forth with the old MXW and Wrestlehouse YouTube channels, and when the one thing I love about in wrestling in the indies is when one promotion goes versing to another, and the Wrestlehouse versus MXW episodes were some of the funnest fucking things I've seen in Australian wrestling. And
man, we had some big cool plans for that, hey, because there was more guys in the MXW roster when we first met them, and they were like, there was two other dudes that were like, sort of like the top guys of MXW, along with like Ace and stuff. But there was a couple of just like throwaway characters and stuff who were their mates, and we were going to have a big like 5-on-5 Survivor Series, like Wrestlehouse versus MXW, like yeah, we hadn't worked out anything like further than that, but it was just like, yeah, all this feud's going to culminate into this big match that never happened.
Nah.
Never happened.
Well, what was the one that was it? They burnt the shed, or was it they destroyed the ring? I can't. I'm just blanking.
Destroyed the mattress. So the mattresses, the mattress era of MXW. So Bamford was the one who lit all that on fire. And initially they'd come to me and gone, "Hey, like we need someone to light the mattresses on fire. Can you do it?" Like, so I used to play a character called the Martyr. It was just like, I weirdly timed this to bring it in, and then the Fiend existed. Rest in peace. And it was like, oh, okay, I've got to be careful with this now because this Fiend character is essentially the same thing as what I'm running now. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll be less like two-sided about it, like happy Bray, annoyed, that'll just be me, pure aggression kind of thing. But it was like, all right, I can light the mattresses on fire, all good. I'm going to set MXW on fire. Got COVID that weekend, the tapings happened, didn't I?
Oh, so no.
I couldn't go and burn these mattresses, bring MXW into a whole new era. And it was like, well, if anyone else is going to do it, Bamford. Bamford was a mad heel at the time, and it was like, it fits, it works. So, it's like, yeah, if anyone else does it, I think Bamford looked pretty cool lighting the shit on fire. And he did, it worked. It worked good. So
he makes a good pyromaniac, that man.
Oh, definitely.
Especially with hair like that. He makes a great pyromaniac.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so Purge, the guy who owned the Wrestlehouse ring, they had a tag team during that era. And they were like, you remember Sanity from NXT?
Yes.
Eric Young and all that? Yeah, it was a little bit like them, mixed with like a splice of like Wyatt family kind of vibes, like dark, creepy sort of thing. They come out in gas masks and everything, and it was dope. Like, they were probably two of the coolest characters we had in Wrestlehouse, I think. But yeah, he was coming off that sort of character at that time, and that's why it was just more like psychotic and badass looking, I think. But yeah, and then the boys got the ring.
So what happened with Wrestlehouse eventually? Because obviously Wrestlehouse is not really doing anything these days. And you're probably now in MXW. What exactly happened there?
Yeah, so nothing bad really. It's just more the fact that because we're moved on to I guess and put it at more of like a professional sort of standpoint and everything, and MXW's kind of evolved with all that, and all these pros that we sort of got coming in, whether it's for matches or to help us guys and all that stuff. It's kind of Wrestlehouse is kind of, it was just that fun backyard time for us, I guess you'd say. Like, but it's still kind of, I don't know, like we'll never forget about it. That's for sure. Anyone that asks where we started, I'll proudly say Wrestlehouse any day. I don't care who calls me a yard tart or anything like that. And yeah, but like, I don't know. I think it's just sort of you got to start with something kind of, to put it lightly. Same with a band, you write a demo and it's kind of, you move on from your demo onto your albums, and kind of like that, I guess, as an analogy for it. Yeah.
Fair enough. So you make the transition to MXW. You start learning with Ace and sort of what's the word? Not getting experience, but just get learning the ropes more and getting more confidence there.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that Ace taught you at the start of being there?
When we first met him, he because he wasn't really getting. I don't think he was in any training at that point either. While the whole mattress era was a thing either. Like, I don't think any of them had done any training. Maybe like a trial or something, but we're all kind of basically on that same level of wanting to learn and sort of knowing how to do certain moves. But it's like, at the end of the day, we're still just all backyarders, man. Like, But Ace was always kind of one of the ones that was like, you can look at Ace do a backyard match and be like, all right, this guy's someone to watch. Like, like I'm an Ace-Shack fan. I'll mark out for him right now. I don't care. Ace is cool. We've had feuds in the past. We had one of the coolest backyard wrestling feuds ever. And it was like, I don't know. We were both MXW like champions at the time. Before the Ascend was a thing, there was like the Undisputed and the Commonwealth, and we were both respective champions. But we had like this friendly rivalry going, and it was good. That was one of the funnest feuds I reckon I've done in backyard wrestling. And he's just great. He's great to work with, regardless, in the ring, out of the ring. Nicest dude ever too. Like,
Yeah, he's
smart
fantastic.
ass,
Very nice.
smart ass when he gets in the ring. But yeah, no, he's cool, and he's always sort of like looked out for us guys. And he actually got us a surprise not long ago, and he got us Cooter boys a bucket hat each with the Cooters logo on it, and it's the coolest
nice.
thing. It broke my heart in the sweetest way. Like, it was just like, bro, you didn't have to do this, man, because like we're still in that learning thing. Like, I'm not walking around going, I'll charge you $75 for a match or something like that. Like, I'm happy just for Ace to walk in the back and be like, good stuff, man. Like, you know. So it's like, he's done that. It's like, man, most wholesome guy. And he's just always looked after us dudes, like, you know, who are basically at that level that he is, trying to learn more, trying to take in anything he can. And I know a lot of stress gets put on him from, like, you know, having to run shows and that, so obviously misses out on a lot of things, like, you know, seminars and all that. But I know he still goes to, you know, try and catch what he can in the city and all that stuff. So, you know, I've got to give props to Ace. He's stressfully smashing it. But yeah.
No, he's doing an absolutely amazing job. I just question his choice in eyewear with those chandelier sunglasses of his. But
he's always worn questionable glasses, man. It's just been an AC thing, and I love it. These weird pants. He has the weirdest like pants for attire too. Like, those red ones and the purple ones are like the exact same thing. But it's like,
I don't think they're that bad. I think because
like not bad weird, like cool weird. It's like, bro, like they look like trackies, but they're not.
Yeah. He's an absolute sweetheart. Love him. Just wish we could schedule times to get him on the show, but he is a very, very busy man, and I totally understand where he's coming from. But Ace, we got to lock on a date, man. Like, seriously, I want to tell him. I really want you to be on the show. Not only tell me the story of MXW, but also to publicly apologize for calling you Will Walker in Ruby's episode.
Oh, man,
I still have heat between him. I still have heat between him and Will. So,
bloody Will Walker. Nah, he's good champ.
Yeah, he's good. He's great. Well, he had an amazing match at DMDU's Dream Tournament, and
I heard about that. I seen that video of him getting absolutely caved through those light tubes. I felt that, man.
Oh man, I was ringside. I was almost ringside for that, and Jesus, I thought he was dead. You see, because if you saw his head bounce like that, you're like,
yeah.
Fuck. But that's how much great of a seller he is. Like, he can make it look like he's fucking.
That's what he gets for. That's what he gets for my ankle up.
Oh man.
Now, swings and roundabouts. He ruined my ankle, but I joined the Cooters. So. Who's the real loser here?
Do I want to continue a trend of me up my reputation and possibly getting my head kicked in via CGS? No, probably not going to do that. Because I can't do it.
You'll be right, man.
I've got you and the boys look after me. Now, I want to before we go
comment something on that. I'm like, there'll be a comment just under here. Oh, Cooters, no, he's all right.
Well, before we get into talking about the Cooters, I do want to talk about the training that you did receive, with a few of the guest trainers you had. Now, you've had I've off camera and from some of the previous guests I've heard. So you've had. Let me list them off. Jason Crush is obviously one big one you've had. You've had Tom Barrett. You've had Joel Bateman. But the one I really want to talk about is
sweetest man in the world, yet probably delivers one of the most painful forearms
Yep.
But
The man who comes from backwards town because he thinks that Palmers are called Palmies. That's right, Weaver. I'm saying it. Palmers, man. It's not Palmy. It's Palmers.
No. It's Palmies. It's Palmies.
You.
That's
No.
Palmies. No. I'm with you. But no, you know what, Weaver? You can forearm me 50 times in one day, mate, but I'm still with you on the Palmies.
Oh, I love you, Michael. Don't kill me. Now, obviously, your brothers, the Cooters, came in and they told me a little bit of a story. I want to hear your take on this. Talk me through it.
Yeah. So we were just at a seminar in Ballarat, hanging out. We had the two lines, and it was Bateman on one line and Weaver on the other. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, forearms, cool. Did a heap of these like with Crash and stuff. That's all right. And then they're like, oh, I thought initially we were going to have people in opposite lines just forearm each other, like pair up and do that. And then Bateman goes, all right, yeah, you're going to take a forearm from like me or Weaver at the end of the line. I'm like, yeah, okay. Slip into Joel's line as soon as I've sort of seen Weaver hit the first person. I'm like, no, I'll go over here. He's going to take my head off. Anyway, I got through, took this forearm from Bateman, pretty solid. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. And then they go, all right, swap lines. Oh, all right. And I'm at the back of this line waiting. And it's like sort of sitting in like an assembly line. You just, and you're just kind of waiting. And I've just kind of looked up at Weaver. I'm like, please don't kill me. And he's gone, smack. And I've thought, all right, my head's going to end up out the window. But I was like taking it, and it was a solid forearm, but it was just kind of like, oh, far out. Like, it wasn't as like impactful as I'd expected it, but I knew that wasn't him. Like, that wasn't his full powered sort of forearm.
Yeah.
He was just half giving it to me, and I'm like, oh, like, so I survived it, hoping to heck that there wasn't going to be a second one there. Like, far out, man. Like, that dude's got some forearms on him there.
Now, was it the left or the right forearm that he gave you?
It was. He's right. So yeah.
Okay. All right. You're lucky. You're lucky it wasn't the left, which has the bolt in his.
Yeah, I think that's why he was doing the right one, because he told us that, and it was like, I'll do this one because and like I was like, oh, that's initially like I just seen him do that first one. It was like, oh, I'm going to this line, and then he hit me with it, and it wasn't that bad. It was just the lead up. It was kind of like, oh, fuck, take me head off.
Well, I can understand your fear, mate. Like I have said previously, I have now 7 people who I'm scared of. So let's list them off again. So I have Vixen, Mad Dog, God, Crackerjack, Gore, Edward Dust, Michael Weaver, and Xavier Black. And I can totally understand where you're coming from. Now, when I say that, I don't say it's like, I'm terrified that I don't like him. I'm terrified because I never got a good bad side of him. It's kind of funny because I've just basically just outed myself and made fun of Michael Weaver on this show. So next time he's probably going to see me, he's probably going to kick my head in. But
man, look, that's basically like the scariest list I've ever heard of.
Now, and when I say this too, because someone actually asked me this when I was at DMDU Dreams Corner the other day. But is that's just Australian wrestling, right? I said no. This is in wrestling in general. Like that. Like I've had the good graces of watching all these people live, and they are terrifying. Like, I mean, people could say, I don't know, like Vader or I don't know, Masato Tanaka, and more people on their name. Problem is, I've never seen them live, so I can only just judge by what I can see on TV. But TV is one thing. When you see it live in person, it's a different ball game. And trust me, you do not want to catch a lariat from Michael Weaver. Like, that's scary.
Absolutely not. Bro, I watched the Cooters versus Blood Force Trauma in PWSA not long ago. They sent us the link to watch the match, and like, holy man, like, it was such a good match, but like, just watching Weaver like cave people is one of my favorite things, I think. It's a fun time. And like, even just clips that I seen last night of him and like Hex and stuff at DMDU getting sent through like the barbed wire and everything, like, far out, man. Like, yeah. No, Weaver's yeah, just genuinely one of the nicest guys. Like when we did that seminar, he was beyond great to us. And yeah, that was a pleasure to have my head half removed by his forearm. But no, that's most of that list I've seen live, I think. I haven't seen Mad Dog yet. I haven't had an opportunity to see Mad Dog, and I know I'm missing out because the amount of clips I've seen of Mad Dog, like he's one of the coolest dudes I've seen. You know, Edward Dusk, I watched that. Was it Such Is Life? The last DMDU show? Yeah, I seen him versus Tyson Baxter in the cage. That was
amazing.
That was scary watching that cage. With just how it was, like looking, but banger of a match, absolute banger of a match. And then Vixen versus Michael Weaver. I actually seen that too.
That was another great match.
Yeah, we so I helped pack the ring up and stuff afterwards, and we lifted the campus up, and where Weaver got there was one point where he was just bleeding heaps, and where we lifted the canvas up, there was still like wet patches of blood like under the canvas on the mat. Like,
are you serious?
It was still damp, bro. Like most of the other blood patches were dry, but that one from Michael was still like damp. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy shit. And you've just got everyone around like, oh yeah, that's just normal. I'm like, I don't know, this one's still wet, man. They're like, oh. Here's Weaver just coming out, clean face and everything now. Like, oh yeah, here you go. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, you see this?
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was a brutal match, man. Like, I walked out to have a ciggy and stuff, like, just after the last match ended. And I heard the music going. I was like, all right, sort of peeking in, still, like, having a smoke and that looking. And I'm like, all right, you know, kind of catch the first minute or two. And throw it ciggy and running in and walking, like, go watch the match. I'm like, this is sick. But, yeah. Weaver got up in that match, but it was, like, just one of the coolest death matches I've seen. Like, it wasn't anything like over the top stupid. Like, it was some nasty in there, but yeah, it was just great. Like a classic, good death match, I think. So, but yeah, the rest of that list up, just sort of happened to catch here and there.
Well, we'll go back quickly to Edward's match. That cage match is probably one of the reasons why I'm generally scared of him. But it's not just his in-ring work. The one thing that actually scares me more than anything than his in-ring work is actually his promo work. Because there's no one...
Dude, I love his promo work.
There's no one that chills me to the f***ing bone like him. I mean, when he does that little...
Yeah, I love it, man.
Oh my god! I remember when he did it for the first time in PCW, and I remember looking at producer Ziggs, and I'm going, "This guy f***ing scares me." And Ziggs is just looking at me, going, "This guy's f***ing awesome, Dan. Man, I love this guy."
First time I heard of Edward Dusk was back in PCW. So Scotty Roach is originally from here. Like, I sort of didn't grow up with him, but you know, he was around the same age as me. Mates with my cousin and that. So I've known him for ages. And when I'd heard that he'd gone to PCW to start wrestling and that, I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, you know, that was when I was sort of thinking about, like, oh, where could I go? And, I sort of caught all this stuff, like, later on with, like, Edward Dusk. And there was, I think Will was actually part of him too, Insurgents or something.
Was Will part of that? I don't remember Will being part of it.
I remember Will talking about Insurgents one day, but I don't know if he was part of it or feuding with them or something of the likes. But I know Insurgents had Edward and Scotty. I can't remember what Scotty's name was back then, but I think he'd only just sort of joined into everything, like, you know.
Oh, Frankie, you just blew my mind. I forgot. I totally blanked out that he was part of that. Oh,
yeah,
man.
very, very vivid memories, man. But I know there was a few of them. I can't remember for the life of me who the other guys were. But
I just remember
talking about Insurgents one day.
Oh, there was a great solo. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he had a tattoo of a deer or some shit, and it's always bothered me. And I'm thinking, who the gets it on their chest? But his character work was great because, like, I was so drawn to it because of that tattoo. You know?
Yeah. See, yeah, like even back then, like I'd sort of, I didn't really watch a whole lot of like full episodes of PCW and that. It was kind of just like catching where I would like what I could on Facebook and all that stuff, and trying to YouTube the shit out of these places and all that. And like, he was like, Edward was probably like the one guy at PCW that I'd like remembered properly and sort of like, you know, tried to watch a bit of. And then all these years later, it was like half of these guys that I'm friends with and wrestle with now, they've all wrestled him and stuff as well. And it's like, you know, oh yeah, he's great. Like, it's like, oh, I think one day, like, if I'm to get to a point where it's like, all right, I can step in the ring with any one of those guys, and probably eventually Edward would be definitely up there for me.
I'd love to see you two guys.
His character work just solid, absolutely solid. That's, like I said before, that's just my entire vibe. Like, I love it.
Yeah, no, I do too. I can't speak highly enough of him. I think he's absolutely fantastic. But fucking terrified of him. And obviously you had Weaver and Vixen. Now that not only was a dream match for me, it over delivered for me. It was such a great match. I've really got to get go back and watch their other match that they did at APW, because apparently that's really good too. And I got a feeling we might see that, wink wink, in a future episode of Wrestling Reaction Wednesdays. But you know, still confirming. But the one thing I that really does terrify me sometimes with Michael is just the pure violence he does, and especially when he bleeds like that. It's
I couldn't really do it, but I love it. Like, I love watching that stuff, but like, I'm not a huge deathmatch guy myself. But like, yeah, watching Michael do it is it's art. Like, I love it.
Oh no, they're fantastic. Vixen, she is one of the toughest people I know, and I love her. I love her so much. She is such a gentle soul, and every time we have a chat, I keep forgetting that this is Vixen, the hardcore bitch that goes out there and kills people for a living. Like it's like we're all having a good laugh and everything, and then I go see her in the ring. I'm like, okay, yeah.
So I've only seen her in that one match at Such Is Life, but I think most of the boys that obviously sort of know, and that I think a few of like EVO and stuff have met a few more of those guys than I have. But that was the only time I'd seen her in person. Seen her everywhere, on DMD posts and whatnot, everything like that. But and the match she had with Charlie at AOW a little while ago now, that was I seen clips of that, and that was, like Charlie was saying, that was one of the funnest matches she's done.
One match you should probably check with her though would be her the opening match of Dream 2. I can't remember who the her opponent was, but I believe she is the owner of Dude, Where's My Ring, which is another great company.
Yeah, right.
I can't remember. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I'm really sorry.
That's right. We'll soon find it. I'll look it up a bit later on. And give me something to watch.
Oh no, it's such a good match because obviously they've known each other for very long, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the first weapons that they come out with, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, that's good. No, I don't know. I've only I don't know, in my time in like proper pro wrestling, I guess, not so much backyard. In my time, I've never really had many experiences where I've watched someone and thought, oh, I don't like your matches, or I don't like your personality. In the same token, it's always been like, oh, they're a great person or great in ring together, or it's like, they're a great person. Maybe they're sort of at the level I'm at and still need a bit of brushing up here and there. Cool, whatever. Still a great person. Or you get the odd person who's great in ring, absolute waker backstage. But like, I've never personally also had anyone be a waker to me at all. So it's like, I don't really throw that sort of judgment at people. If they're nice to me, cool. Like, yeah, I'll sit down and watch all their matches and cheer them on and all that stuff. That's cool with me. But yeah, like I love just sort of meeting new people and trying to like get into their personality outside of the ring as well, and just sort of see like, you know, all right, how does this person contrast from this character that they play, to kind of give me an idea of where I could go with myself, sort of thing. And it's like that's sort of just why I try and give everyone the time of day and be friends with just whoever I can in the wrestling industry, because it's like, well, there's so much I can learn off everyone, even if it's things to learn that I shouldn't be doing. It's a lesson learned at the end of the day. So
fair enough.
And it's like, you know, yeah, it's good.
All right, well, it's becoming a staple question here on What If It's Cool, because obviously you've done a bit of training with Jason Crash. What is your best Jason Crash story?
My best Jason Crash story. Oh.
And because we keep having it all on time, maybe not have Ace involved on this one, or does it involve Ace again?
Okay, no. Have you had the story about the squirrel?
No, but I'm liking this already.
This is my favorite Jason Crash story, and it's such a wholesome story as well. So after what was it? The last Horsham show we did, Super Smash.
Yeah. I think
it was Super Smash. Yeah. So after that, we all went to KFC. 20 of us just sitting in KFC, all waiting for food. Half an hour before they close, pissing all the workers off. You know, we're all waiting around. Anyway, across from the KFC in Horsham, there's this park, and there's these little like squirrels or possums or whatever they are. Like, you know, they just sort of like come down and lurk around at nighttime and all that. And we're all standing around at the end of this park near this barbecue, sort of all saying goodbye and chatting away and that. And it's a possum. Squirrels are in America, aren't they? Okay, yeah, it's true. Anyway, yeah, this possum comes down, and Crash has spotted this possum, man, and just instantly like fallen in love. He got his phone out and grabbed this like thing of KFC chips as well, and like sort of creeped over, all hunched down, all like, you know, like an excited child, man, just feeding this possum chips from KFC, man. Yeah. And this possum was full taking the chips from him and like, you know, sort of backing off a bit, eating the chip and coming back. And he was getting like real friendly with these squirrels, man. And we're all waiting to go for half an hour, and Crash is still sitting there with these bloody possums feeding them, right? And we're all just like, Crash, what are you doing? Like, you're still over those possums, man. But yeah, Crash is just in like possum mode for like a good half hour, 45 minutes. We haven't had drunk dudes come over and like annoy the out of us, and Crash was just still there feeding the possums. It's just like, what?
I'm so picturing him doing that too.
Yeah, but like, you know, I know Crash is generally a pretty happy, smiley sort of dude around with his mates and all that, but it's like, man, this is next level. Like, you're warming my heart right up now. Like, but yeah, possum feed a Crash.
I was actually referring to like, you know, a training story, but that's just fucking awesome. Like,
nah, I've only had that one. I've done a seminar and two seminars with him, but like in terms of training, best story is probably just him like absolutely chain working the shit out of Ryan Casca. He's just standing there clueless, and Crash is just working him all over, putting him in all these locks, putting him down and like locking his leg up, and we're all just like, oh yeah, cool. But
if it isn't Ace, it's down Ryan. Okay. Oh man, I'm not a wrestler, but I really want to attend one of these just to see the mayhem that happens in these seminars. You know,
it's like we're pretty like hard out, like flat out training and that, but it is just a laugh as well. Like, there's no like times during those seminars really. It's like, you know, everyone's just there and they're happy, whether they're exhausted or not. It's like, yeah, everyone's just loving it. It's a good time. Yeah.
Well, what if get to know how the Cooters became the Cooters, because obviously I've had Robbie and Bamford on, and they've had that one side, but obviously And kayfabe aside, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, the same day that I did the interview with them was also the same week that you joined the Cooters. And
Yeah, so kind of a, I don't know, convenient timing, I guess.
yeah,
Or
but
inconvenient maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. I
But
could have joined a little before, but should be right.
well, the one thing I want to know, and we obviously, if you go back to the old shows at MXW, there was the Horsham show, I believe, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The first collision course, I think it was called.
yeah. You guys debuted as a
Yeah.
foursome, but you guys were called the Barracudas. I had to when I saw that, I had to take a spit take and went, hang on, wait a minute, have they been a thing for that long? And then I went, hang on, maybe they had a hard reset. What happened there? Talk to me through.
Yeah, so the Barracudas at the Horsham show was basically, to put it simply, it was a prototype of the Cooters. So we got thrown together in this 4v4 match. Oh, sorry, no, it was a 6-man, and we at literally 10 seconds before the curtain, like we went out the curtain, we decided to ask Ace real quick, like, hey, can we just throw this as well, like Jimmy Burton?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, like all good. So he's literally got the okay, walked straight out with us out the curtain. But we'll kind of just tossing ideas, like, oh, we'll just think of a funny team name. And we just threw the old Barracuda, not so PG sort of sign. It was like, oh, we'll just do that because it looks like a Barracuda head. If you look at a Barracuda skull, and that's our reason for doing that. Thought Barracudas, yeah, cool. That's our name for this match for all good. And we won the match. It was as cool as 4-man celebration, together and everything. And then we just sort of decided, like, oh yeah, we'll keep this rolling, like, try and implement the Cooters into proper, proper storyline and everything. We want to get this sort of rolling, like we work well together. And eventually, we were just sort of talking about it. And outside of MXW, even just amongst the boys and everything, we'd be going around like, Cooters, yeah. Just shorten it down to the Cooters for that reason. And we copped a bit of, not hate, but just a bit of a talking to, like, oh, maybe don't throw that because it's not family friendly. And
wait, because of that? Or
a shocker sort of thing. And because that's like the for any non-paid, any
no, I get it, but like, is that really the shocker? Like, okay, yeah,
yeah. So I don't know, we weren't going to argue it because, like I said, our reason for that was it's the shape of a Barracuda head when you do that. Like, yeah, but we weren't going to argue. It's kind of like, I guess, in a way, I can see how like parents or whoever might look at that and be like, that's a bit suggestive. So I was like, all right, let's just split it. I don't know what other people are doing. There's probably a few, but like this is still our thing now, still the Cooters, like, and then that's just been our thing. And we like link them together when we see each other. And yeah, Cooters just decided to shorten it because it was easier. And then it was like, I think when we're trying to come up with a logo and stuff, it's like, I think just the Cooters is going to fit a bit better. So we just sort of ran with the Cooters, took out the Barra, which I guess it still implies it, but it's not, it's not quite there. But yeah, so it's like we're only sort of missing out on having Burton as a proper Cooter, but just being a bit biased because he's the MXW GM now, so maybe he can slip as a staff discount on the title match.
Well, I like the fact that it was shortened. I think it sounds a lot more cool than the Barracudas.
I think it's less of a mouthful, yeah.
Yeah, but also like when you said fits the logo and all that stuff, it's a perfect amount of letters to spell out a fish. So on your thing. So I think that was really cool to do anyway. But yeah. So Frankie, we come to the staple question here. What if it's cool? What is something that you find cool that nobody else does?
Those like satisfying videos where people clean rugs, like steam clean dirty ass rugs.
Oh my god, really?
Man, I want to do that for a job. I find that so cool. And I've told so many people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, pretty satisfying. It's like, that's underselling your reaction. Like, it's awesome. Otherwise, like, something a bit more, like, a bit less out there, something I find cool that no one else does. Probably going to say Doctor Who, which I know a lot of people do, but there's also a lot of people that don't.
I love
And
the
it's like, yeah, that's that. Yeah, who's your favorite Doctor?
Look, if it's not Tennant, because obviously, because like it could be flat honest, Tennant was actually my first Doctor. I'm gonna say it would be. Oh my god! Now I've already forgotten his name. I've met him too. Hang on.
Matt Smith?
No.
The older bloke?
Oh, no, not Peter Capelli. Jesus Christ! Can't think of his name. He was. I think he was either the Eighth Doctor or not. He was in the Hobbit.
Chris Eccleston?
No.
No, not John Hurt.
No.
That's the War Doctor.
Oh my god! What's his
in the
goddamn name?
Hobbit.
Yeah, he was in the Hobbit.
Oh.
Christ, I can't remember his name. I fucking met him too. Oh god. Something McCoy.
Not John.
Is it
Peter.
Peter McCoy? Is it?
Ah.
I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Is he the one in like the Doctor Who movie as well?
No. He was in Doctor. He was in. Oh yeah, he was in the Doctor Who movie because he was the one. He was the Doctor before he turned into the new guy. Yeah. Because how I met him was actually really funny because I was at I think it was Armageddon and I was literally kept running. This is the same day I met Raven out of all people too because it was the same situation where I'm walking next to this big guy like for Raven's case I walk past this big guy thinking who the is this guy, and I turn my head and he looks at me and goes like that, gives me a headbutt. I'm like, oh my god, you're Raven. So I end up shaking his hand, talking to him for 5 minutes, and just saying how much I'm a big fan. And he was sweetest guy. But with Sylvester McCoy, his name is. I'm pretty sure
Sylvester McCoy.
McCoy. I'll never forget because I was walking on my way out, and he just finished the photo booth or something, and I've gone and whacked him on the side by accident because he's quite short, right? So am I. But I've hit him, and I've gone, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I looked at him and I go, you're Sylvester McCoy. He goes, yes, I am, son, but I need to go over there. I went, okay, cool, thank you. And my mates are looking at me going, you are the biggest fucking nerd. I was like, god damn right I am. That's Doctor right now.
Yeah. Don't blame you.
Yeah. No,
see, I'm a Tom Baker dude myself.
Yeah, I love Tom. I think he's good.
Yeah, that was me all time. Like growing up, he was always the one on TV and stuff. And yeah, I think out of the newer lot though, yeah, definitely Tennant. Tennant is chef's kiss, mate.
Yeah, no, of course, but like his event, like it's not just him being the Doctor. It's just his adventures were awesome too. Like
oh yeah,
I think one of the things that with Matt Smith is like obviously the series kind of went. It was like this. I think he's a great Doctor. I just think they wrote stories for him. To be honest,
yeah, like he played the character well, but it was just like trying to apply that to subpar episodes. It's kind of like he had so much more potential than what he put out, I think.
Yeah, Stephen Moffat. I think you really need to lift your game, mate. It's not.
Yeah,
I'm really nerding out right now. Jesus Christ.
But one thing that wigs me out is there's that one episode in like Tennant's run with Kylie Minogue, the Voyager ship or whatever.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just randomly got Kylie Minogue of all people. And it's like, what the what's the neighbor's chick doing here?
I like the one thing that always lived rent free in my head from the entire Tennant run, was the Christmas special where there was another Doctor. Well, sorry, another Doctor, and he just his face goes, yes, that's right, the Doctor, the one, the only, and the best, and he's got that screwdriver, and he goes, well, it makes sound, that makes it sonic, right?
Yeah.
Like
Fake doctor.
Every now and again, every couple of days, that pops into my head. I'm just and I'll say it to somebody, and they're going, "What the is wrong with you?" I'm going, "You never seen Doctor Who?" All right, you. I think it's great. I just not as much of a fan as I used to be because I've got other stuff to watch, unfortunately. And
yeah, I think I've had a whole like couple of years where I just binged the absolute out of that like 100 times, and like I haven't watched it for a good while. I've chucked on episodes to like go to sleep and stuff, but yeah, like I haven't really caught up with anything recent, like any like the Jodie stuff or anything like I watched a little bit of that series, that season. Sorry, like Saga of Jodie and that it was all right, but like I just got busy, I guess, didn't really keep up with it.
my favorite incarnation of the actual series, because like obviously everyone's got their favorite Doctor and everything. My personal thing with Doctor Who, and this is actually why I started watching Doctor Who, is actually I got into the radio plays. That's my definition of Doctor Who. I will either listen to one of their audiobooks or a radio play that they've done on the BBC, and I will listen to out of that because I always think that's much better because I think the best TV to watch in your life is your imagination when you got just having a silence to go like that. Love
Definitely.
it.
I've done that a few times, just sort of like even just while I'm driving on road trips now. Like last time I drove to Melbourne, I had a Goosebumps like playbook thing, like a voice book just playing on the radio. Man,
I hate you. That would have been great.
Oh, bro. Oh yeah, Goosebumps probably another thing I find cool too. Like I love Goosebumps.
Who didn't love Goosebumps growing up? I mean, those books. Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
The ones that used to like choose your own ending and all that stuff too, like the Horrorland and all that. It was like you pick different pages and all that it tells you. And it's like, that was peak childhood, man.
Yep, 100% agree with that one.
That's good.
Well, Frankie, where can we find you on all your socials, mate?
You can find me on Instagram. It's grimecvlt.pw, which is meant to say Grime Cult, but with the V because I'm edgy. And I do have Twitter, which is I can't quite remember my handle, but I'm barely on it. Okay, so it's just the same as my Instagram, but it doesn't have the full stop in it. It's just Grime Cult with the V PW. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Unless people want to add my personal, which I'm not advised. Otherwise, feel free to check out my band stuff too. Headstone Villains. Just type that in anywhere. YouTube, Spotify, whatever. 8th of October. I don't know if this will be out before then. If so, get keen. If it's after then, hope you liked it. But yeah.
Well, next time we have you on the show, we'll definitely talk more about your music and
that's
I think we might even do a reaction video to one of your tracks. I think that'd be really good because I have heard some of your stuff and it is pretty good. I do like it, but I've got to check out more of it before I say I'm a fan. You know what I mean?
The new stuff, everything you'll hear at the moment online is it's all right. But the stuff we've sort of got coming in the next however long, maybe 6 months to a year or so, even before that, maybe if we're lucky, it's going to blow it out of the water. So yeah.
Beautiful. I love to hear that, and I can't wait to check that out as soon as possible. And I'll plug the living out of it because that's what I do. I love plugging stuff.
Next, the boys will love that.
Well, Frankie Grime, thank you for being part of Whatever It's Called. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
And that's the end of that episode. Want to be featured on What If It's Cool or know someone with an amazing story that needs to be told? Reach out to me. I can be reached on whatifitscooledbusiness@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course, the vodcast. And don't forget to follow What If It's Cool on all socials. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.